Hello, guys. Welcome to Approach the Nerd. And we are here today to talk about The Flash, Armageddon, Part 2. So, before I jump into this, being a half Brit, I've decided to utilize the skill of tea, the powering and soothing effects that it has while doing reviews that I don't want to do. So, that's what I'm doing. I'm utilizing my French press with really good loose tea, and I'm going to put it in this very big cup. And then by the time I'm done with this very big cup, the stream will be over. Because we have a lot to talk about, and some of it is not enjoyable and probably will trigger angry grandma. So, part 2 of Armageddon. Basically, Despero finally tells the Flash, exactly what happens that makes him crack. Not verbatim what happens, but that somehow tragedy causes the Flash's mind to break, and then he just essentially wipes everyone out. That brings the Armageddon, basically. But Despero does not know exactly what it is. And I love in the very opening of this scene, after he kind of puts a smackdown on Barry to try and figure out the best way of killing him. After their little banter, his eyeball opens and he basically just starts saying, "I'll be watching. I'll be watching. I'll be watching." I'm like, why did you do that? I'm like, there's no point to that. I just thought that was really interesting. Somehow, Kara and Martian Manhunter are off world in this crossover. Now, whether this is going to be a thing throughout the entire crossover, I don't know. But you got to feel bad for Martian Manhunter's actor, because just because Kara left the show doesn't mean he couldn't pop in and kick some ass. So I don't know why Martian Manhunter is not in this, especially since he is a member of the Hall of Justice. So, but for some unknown reason, Kara and John are off world, according to Alex. And Alex has given the team Star Labs access to the DOA, their extensive alien database, basically. And she's trying to find information on, who Despero is, basically what type of alien he is, what's his backstory, which we'll talk about that in a minute. All right. So we also got to learn, because we have to learn everything in this show that's not important towards the plot, that Alex is also trying to hook Caitlin up with a guy named Marcus, because we learned in the last episode that Caitlin's ready to date again, and that's very important. So, we need to know that for Armageddon. So anyway, Killer Frost, who actually is saying a lot of things that make sense in this episode, is worried about Barry and his, he's basically boosting his speed too quickly. And the last time this happened, he kind of snapped and tried to attack his team and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, so what's going to happen if he snaps? How are we going to take him out, basically? And two things spawned from this that annoyed the hell out of me. Number one, Barry says, well, that's not going to happen again. And I'm like, you didn't think it was going to happen the last time. I mean, what is wrong with you? And the second thing is they're just continuing to make Chester P a bitch. So what I mean by that is, last week he was in his feelings because Ray didn't want to start a new tech business, and it got him all, whiny and whatever in his feelings and mopey, basically like he was at Toys R Us and they sold the last Megazord before he got it, and it was like the limited edition, and he stood in line for 4 hours. That's literally how he reacted to Ray in the last one. Well, in this one, Killer Frost asked him to make a weapon to try and stop Despero, to save Barry. And so Chester's like, I don't make weapons, blah, blah, blah. Now, I am not saying there's anything wrong with being a pacifist, so please don't take this that way when I say this. But you are on Team Flash, a team that is constantly threatened, normally over stupidity on Barry's part, but constantly threatened weekly. Why in the hell would you not want to make a weapon to protect yourself? I'm not saying make a weapon to go out there and just start shooting at people, because in this episode, Barry, he basically takes on our villain of the week, or our meta of the week. And, it's Zotar, who they basically gender bent, because it's a guy in the comics and now it's a girl. She's a meta, basically, that has very strong psychic powers. And one of the powers is she's able to mess with your mind, make you feel like you're having, kind of a breakdown, a mental breakdown. For plot convenience purposes, since we just learned that Barry loses his mind in this episode, and that's what causes the Armageddon, we had to have a meta that has the ability to do the exact same thing. We needed that because we needed that caveat so we can blame something other than Barry losing his shit. So we get this. I have more to say on that too. So, we'll get back to that. But with Chester P, it just strikes me as weird that you already know that this team is always threatened. This team is always under attack. Why are you in your feelings about making a weapon? And then we get this story from his past where he's basically caught. He basically had a device that he gave to his best friend that caused his, wasn't calibrated right, and it caused his his best friend's family's home to burn down, and that made him a pacifist. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, guys, I'm trying. Let's pour the tea. No, we spilled the tea. I'm pouring the tea. And I'm going to drink the tea so I can calm my ass down. I don't understand why they keep doing this. I mean, I've accepted a lot in the Arrowverse because, again, it's not the comics. You have to. If you know anything about Chester, Runk in the comics, or Chuck, you know that he basically is a metahuman, and he's able to, he absorbs like anything anything that's made out of matter, and he sent it to the void. And that's one of his abilities. Is also almost invulnerable, not Superman level invulnerable, not the Sparrow invulnerable, but he can protect himself from getting hurt. He can absorb any weapon or anything that you really throw at him. He has one weakness. I forgot what it was. It's been a minute, but he's very hard to kill. He's also very, very big. So they've already milked this character down. They did it with Mr. Terrific. They've done, if you really think about Black superheroes in the Arrowverse, outside of Black Lightning, that show started off strong, and I still have no problem with most of Black Lightning. Just with some of the character assassination they did with Lynn and a few others. But if you really take Black Lightning out of the equation, every Black hero-like character in the Arrowverse is milked down, or I like to call character assassinated. Case in point, Martian Manhunter. He is, to me, one of the biggest tragedies of the Arrowverse because I effing love Martian Manhunter, and it pisses me off every time I think about how they've dumbed his powers down. They've dampened him to the point where he's not even really functional or useful in most scenarios. And for his actor and Martian Manhunter not to be involved in this crossover, because I guess it makes sense. Let's face the facts. The Sparrow versus Martian Manhunter would have been a kick-ass fight. And that would have been a kick-ass fight. So they're not going to do that. That would have been too cool. So why would you have Martian in it? But now with Chester P, it's why does Arrowverse continuously make these characters weak as fuck? I do not understand. Weak, and in Chester's case, whiny as hell. He's always got this look on his face do I have to do this again? Oh, I don't want to. I just can't, guys. I can't. Hi, guys. I see you, Dean Marie, Porus, and Mercenary in the chat. Okay, so let's continue on. I have to have my tea, guys. Keeping my angry grandma in check. So he doesn't want to make the weapon that Killer Frost, basically asked, him to make. And he's in his feelings about it. And you see that he had plans to make a radiation gun, which he's not doing. And there's a radiation gun in the comics. All these things I'm seeing are little Easter eggs for the comics. But all right, so let's get on to more stuff. Barry was going to investigate the crime committed, by our meta of the week. And, of course, a security guard was driven insane because, again, that's what Zotar does. And she now, because, again, she is gender bent in the Arrowverse, she made off with everything in the vault. And he was on his way to do his CSI stuff. But then, out of nowhere, Kramer comes and says, "Give me your badge. You're suspended." And we're like, oh, here we go. And so then we learned that, so there was a case back in the day. I don't remember what season this was actually. What was this season? I'm trying to think. It's basically when it had a lot to do with Carver, and he had implanted people within CPD and Central City CCPD. And, basically there was Rollins, Sunshine was involved. And so for some reason, the DA is now reviewing all these cases. And now they think that Barry Allen is also another accomplice for Carver that was embedded inside the police force. And so he's having federal charges brought up against him. And he's not supposed to be able to do his job or blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, all right, that's cool. But I'm like, what's really interesting to me is that was a big thing for like a moment, because Kramer was like, give me your badge. And then they have like this banter. He's like, I just want to do my job. And she's like, if Joe was here, I'm sure he would just say, have an open mind, blah, blah, blah. But she's like, yeah, give me your damn badge, because it's illegal. You can't, if you're suspended, you can't go on an active crime scene because you could be contaminating evidence. And then that's her job. And Barry was like, oh, just take my word for it. No, that's not what we're doing, Barry. So that scene was stupid. And then on top of that, that's the last time. That's basically when he's talking to Cecile about the case, and she's like in her feelings saying, I'm going to make sure that I sue CCPD, blah, blah, blah. That's the last we hear about this shit. Apparently, it wasn't enough for him to be arrested in this episode, so nobody really cares that he has federal charges coming up against him because, bigger fish to fry. But what's interesting to me is he's talking to Cecile, and they basically decided that this is definitely a meta with psychic ability that can drive you mentally insane. Like literally you have a nervous breakdown. And then he's like, all right, I'm kind of stay. He tells Iris in the morning, I'm trying to stay, on the down low, make sure nothing happens today. And, everything will be great. We just got to get through today because, Despero said it happens today. Get through today. And then bam, tomorrow's great. Now, when did we hear this again? Or when did we hear this before in the Flash? The Savitar crap. It's the same shit. So anyway, whatever. So tell me, guys, I need this question answered for me because I do not understand the logic. And for a show that has all of these science people and smart people, why are they stupid? I mean, I'm just asking general questions. So if this person can do all that, and Despero told you that he wants you to prove to him that you're not going to lose your shit, and then you go to a meta that can help you towards losing your shit, and Barry's like, I need to go talk to the guard. Okay. You want to go talk to the guard that was having a mental breakdown from, Zatar, right? You're talking to Cecile, who is a whole ass empath, who could have gone and talked to this guard and pretty much figured out what was going on because she would have sensed it, would have gotten his head, blah, 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 blah. But instead, you've got to go talk to the guard? Why? That makes no effing sense to me. If this man is literally as bad off as they say, and he's like losing his shit, send the empath. I mean, that's stupid to me. So that was dumb. Okay. And then Barry, finally finds Zatar. They face off. She messes with his head. He goes back to him and Iris's apartment where Team Flash is, because for some reason we saw Iris for maybe 2 scenes, maybe 2.5 scenes, but it was mostly the Caitlin hour in this episode or this show again, because we got both Caitlin and Killer Frost, and she was Caitlin was everywhere today. If you were a Snowberry or Caitlin lover, you were happy today. But he goes back, and of course Caitlin, Allegra, and Chester P are there because they're basically getting ready to tear down Star Labs, which we'll talk about in a second too. And he comes busting through the door. I guess he just starts attacking him. He almost took out Chester P. Allegra had to hit him with her light ability. And then you have Caitlin holding a gun on him. And I'm like, and he's like, oh, what happened, right? So then they all talk him down. He's like, oh, she was in my head. And they're like, okay, cool. We need to find it. He's like, all right, you guys go do that. I'm going to go find this girl again. And I'm like, what? I'm like, hold it. Sparrow said that you were going to lose your shit and cause the Armageddon. You said you needed to lay low so you couldn't lose your stuff today, preventing the Armageddon. You go around a meta that can make you crazy, which may lead to the Armageddon, and you keep looking for her? Without a dampener, without any kind of protection, you're just running around the city trying to find this girl who gets in your head and makes you do shit. Telling you guys. I'm telling you. I'm telling guys. All right. So Star Labs. So they have this safety protocol, the procedure, and this pretty much this device that tells them when the radiation levels are too high or if it's too dangerous to be in Star Labs. And for some reason, it's fried and hasn't been working properly in over a week. And I guess nobody really thought to look at a report of the radiation in said Star Labs. So nobody really cared until the city came and they're like, yeah, so there's a radiation leak here. We detected it. We don't know why the hell you didn't in Star Labs. And we're just going to, kick all of you out. And then we're going to tear it. We're just going to blow it up and move it to a containment area. By Star Labs. Literally, I was like, wow. But you know what? Just demolish it. Who cares? The saddest thing for me was Gideon. So if Barry was the one who originally made Gideon, and Gideon was there for him through all of these seasons, different voice though. It's not our Gideon from literally Legends of Tomorrow. No, this is a more non-English. She's not British speaking. She's more American sounding. Like, it's basically Siri. She sounds a little bit like Siri to me. She literally is like, I have to erase everything about you to protect you, Barry Allen, including myself. So Gideon's gone. That also saves on the CG budget. They don't have to make her anymore. And the few times they utilize her, they don't need her anymore. So they're spending too much money using Gideon in Legends. They have two Gideons running around, one in human form, and then, of course, Gideon's voiceover. So they don't want to have more Gideon than they need to, I guess. So Gideon is no longer, for right now, in Central City and Star Labs because she has deleted herself. Bye, Gideon. Very sad, but she's gone. So there's that. But I will tell you, another thing I thought was extremely effing stupid. So the Flash is like, okay, guys, everybody get to your lab. You have 5 minutes to get all your stuff. Save what you can and steal the rest. And I'm like, why can't you use your new speed ability, your boost in speed, to get all the shit out of the lab yourself? Why are you sending people that can't run? They're just walking, cruising to their office. At the same time, the city employees are all running around, looking for radiation, and you're just strolling in. Now, this definitely isn't sneaky. This isn't shady as hell. It's like. Okay. So the fight scene where the last one with Zatar, where basically, and we've known this through lore, that Barry always has to run to gather kinetic energy to be able to throw lightning. Well, Barry now is able to just he does something where he charges his cells on a micro level to allow electricity to flow out through almost like a conductor, I guess. And then he just zaps Zatar, which he also zaps 2 police cars. And I'm really hoping he didn't zap other police, officers and citizens around too, because that was a pretty wide and broad range. But that's how he defeated her, because she was using her abilities to bend him like a spoon, which for a telekinetic, she was taking too damn long. Come on, guys. We grew up watching Jean Grey and Emma Frost. This was child's play for you, especially the origin of this character in the comics. So I was really annoyed at how slow her telekinesis was. Just fucking snap him. Anyway, it's just me. But so he manages to, zap her unconscious and get the metacuffs on her. And he's like posing and smiling. But when they put the metacuffs on, everybody that she whammied with her powers, her psychic abilities, are back to normal. So then it doesn't make sense when Barry goes back to Team Flash and they basically inform him. Oh no, he asked if they want to go eat because Allegra's like, I'm hungry, or somebody says I'm hungry. And he's like, let's go back and have Joe grill us some stuff. And they're like, why would you say that? So he doesn't remember that apparently Joe has died 6 months ago, which makes me think we are not in the real Central City or not in the real reality, because they never announced that Jesse was leaving the show. I know that he was doing Rent on Broadway because he is also a theater actor. Some people think he's probably going to be going back to his old roots because he was in Law and Order. And I think they're rebooting a show that he was in, or at least I think it is the show he was in. They're rebooting. I'm not sure. I have to look at that up. But I don't remember ever announcing that he was leaving the show. So he could just be on hiatus because he's still, touring with Rent. He could be on hiatus because he's filming another project. I do not believe that Joe is dead. But I mean, again, I said this last week. It was very weird when Chester P was talking about being dead to Ray and then looking at Cecile and said, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. So that kind of clued us in that in this timeline, Joe West is gone. But we don't know how. And that's not sitting well with me, because I kind of feel like if Joe West really died, he would have an epic send off, because he's been in that show since the damn pilot. So I don't think that he's actually dead. And that makes me wonder what's actually going on, because Barry does not remember Joe dying. He doesn't remember the past 6 months. Cecile was so out of character for me. I know she's grieving, but she was like, how can you do this? I'm just trying to move on. And she was like very aggressive with it. Again, as somebody who has lost both a mother and a previous spouse to cancer, I do know that grief is very powerful. So I'm not trying to say that that's not possible how she's acting, and she is an empath. So I mean, I'm not saying that can't be. But it's just really weird to me. And why isn't Iris more broken up that her dad's been dead for 6 months? She's saying it's hard for them. That's your dad. Why are you not broken up about this? You should be like under the covers sobbing every day. I don't know. I don't understand that. So that's either an attempt to make Iris and, towards her haters into being even giving them a reason to hate her even more, or something is wrong with this universe. So there's something wrong. I don't know what it is, but I feel like something is off in what's going on with Central City, which could have happened from the moment the Sparrow arrived. But again, the whole stuff with, that was happening, with Joe, and that was happening prior to him being, well, at least making himself known. He could have done something. I don't know. But I'm just putting it out there. It's very, very strange. But again, there are a lot of little things. Like if you think about just everything that's happening with like Joe being dead, Barry forgetting that Joe is dead, him apparently taking out City Hall. Like he just went on a rampage. He like went and then after he went and won his battle, he went off apparently and just started firing like electric, like lightning shots at people. And the camera woman almost died and took out City Hall. There are many people that were injured, and he has no memory of that. And when he's at the house trying to find Joe, saying, where is he? And Iris is like, what the hell? And her and Cecile are having that moment. She's like, you're on the news. She's like, what did you do? And then they show him that he went completely crazy. He's like, I don't remember doing that. Again, this could be he's boosted too much. But again, I feel like there's something else going on. When Barry is about to die, because the Sparrow shows up at the house and he's about to kill his ass, Cecile tries to take him on. And I love the smirk on Despero's face. Despero's like, you're an empath. Sit down and be quiet. I was like, wow. He just knocked her completely out. I still think there's more to Cecile though than just being an empath, and we've seen prior episodes where it shows just how powerful she can be. So I don't know why she's not force pushing or doing the other stuff that we've seen her do, but they'll get me started on the Arrowverse again. But the person that ends up saving Barry is Chester P, because Allegra gave him that pep talk saying, you don't have to make weapons, that's not what you're here for, you're just here to protect Barry. I'm like, okay. Like, again, you're on a team that literally is notorious for being attacked by powerful villains weekly almost, and some of them are nice and give you 7 to 14 days to get your shit together, but I mean, and not other teams have that luxury, but still powerful villains. And you're like, I don't want to make a weapon. I'm like, okay, you just so anyway, Barry runs away because Chester saves him with a device that is not a weapon but still blasted Despero, because there's a difference between shooting somebody with something that's not called a weapon and making a weapon to shoot something. Just saying. And so Barry runs to the Hall of Justice, and then we get our cameo from Black Lightning, our guest star. Is he a guest star? He's in the next episode, so yeah. And Jefferson's like, you look at him like, basically, you look like shit. What happened to you? What the hell's going on? And so this makes me ask this question again that I asked last week. Why is he there? Because he is retired. He has said he is retired. He's working on his marriage. He's working on himself. Why is he there? Because Lynn's gonna be like, oh, Jefferson, you're putting on that suit again, right? Oh my God, you promised. I can hear it. I can hear it in my head. But yeah, I guess Black Lightning's there to try to take some of the lightning or speed force out of Barry via lightning. I don't know. Guys. I'm trying. I'm trying to be objective. I'm trying to be open-minded, but I'm telling you guys, when I watch this show, especially when Jefferson asks Barry what's wrong and he says injustice, I was like, the hell it is. This is not injustice, boy. You better put that back in your pocket. And this is not that storyline. Justice is cool. This is not injustice. I just feel like something, it's almost like he created another Flashpoint. And, to be honest, he could have. Maybe something did happen to Joe and he lost his shit and he ran and he created a Flashpoint. Or maybe he, after the events of last season, something happened with Iris and he ran and he created a Flashpoint. Maybe Iris is not, like they said, Iris is like a key to a lot of stuff going on in this miniseries or crossover event. What if Iris's sickness, what if it causes her to die and he can't, or she's dying and he can't handle it? So then he creates a Flashpoint. And all of this is essentially his fault. And then the thing that Iris has to do is convince him to put everything back. I can see that. I can see that being a thing. But yeah, I feel like Barry created another he definitely created something. He did something. He broke time again. I don't know why. I just feel like Barry broke time. And again, he could be insane. I mean, but it's interesting. And like I said, what's happening is interesting. But it's just, there's so much stupidity. Like, and there's so many things that do not make sense. So I'm going to go over it again in case you missed it. If you literally are told you're going to have a mental breakdown, and then there is a metahuman, that has the ability to give you a mental freaking breakdown. You do not continuously put yourself in the path of said metahuman, because the tar is going to make you have a freaking mental breakdown. It's common sense. It's like Superman. I'm allergic to kryptonite, so I'm not going to go look for kryptonite because kryptonite could hurt me. I don't want to go crazy and cause the Armageddon, so I'm going to let other metahumans on my team and other people that are supposed to be intelligent deal with this person, while I stay back for 24 hours and live my best life. Because, I don't understand. Take your woman to Tahiti, do some baby making skills, do whatever you need to do. Why are you doing this? And then second of all, I don't understand at all why in the hell he had to go and talk to this guard that obviously was not responsive originally, who was having a mental breakdown, instead of sending Cecile, who is a whole ass empath. That makes zero sense. So it's like these things, they don't connect the dots in my head. And his team was like completely okay with all of these decisions. It's like, they're like, what if you go crazy again? I won't. Okay, cool. And then, and then it's like, oh, I'm going to go find Zatar. She just whammied you and you almost killed us. Cool. Well, I'm going to look for her again. What? Like, I just can't, guys. I'm trying so hard. I really am. Chester P, I still am in my feelings about. They are making him such a dislikable character for me. And that sucks. Because when he was first introduced, I had so much hope for him. And I wanted them to call him Chuck like they do in the comic books. And I wanted him to be a meta like he is in the comics. I wanted him to have a lot. I needed him to have more than he has. You don't have to be a metahuman to be cool. But apparently you do if you're in the Arrowverse. Because if you're not a meta, they make you stupid, or they make you whiny, or they make you pointless. And it's irritating as hell. Like, it's irritating. And Chester P's speech about making weapons, I was just thinking Batman, Wonder Woman, all of them were throwing down their shit saying, well, damn, you're a pacifist. Mother F. Call Ryan and Luke, tell them to stop making weapons, because that's not what we need to do. We can fight crime and stop supervillains that are metahumans without weapons. And then it begs to, you have to ask this question. If you don't need to make weapons in Central City that is full of effing metahumans that could kill you instantly, why do we need them in Gotham or any other show? Because they don't have as many metahumans. You have Poison Ivy right now. You've got a few of the Bat villains that could be considered kind of metahuman, or have tech that have metahuman abilities. But why can't you just fight them with the power of your words and love? Why do you need weapons? So yeah, I think Chester P should take that on the Arrowverse tour. Tell everybody, go to, National City, tell the DOD to put all their shit down. Just stupid. It's just really stupid. It's dumb. So yeah, I'm unhappy with Chester P. But to be fair, POC in general in the Arrowverse has always been problematic. How they write characters, they don't write them right. They just don't. They will never write them correctly. Joe is probably the only one that I think they kind of got right, and I really like Diggle, but Diggle's had a crazy journey in Arrow, so I can't even say they wrote him correctly because some seasons I was like, you got to be effing kidding me. So that's a thing. I really expected to have more cameos by now. I mean, we're in episode 2. This is a 5-episode arc. The first episode, literally, I kind of feel like most of the action didn't even start. No, that's true. It didn't start till 44 minutes after the episode began. So I don't know exactly what in the heck is happening. The only thing I will say is if Grant Gustin, his wife had a baby in real life. So if he is like Melissa and he, decides he wants to spend more time with his kid and he doesn't want to miss his kid growing up, and he doesn't take the deal to expand the Arrowverse to the Flashverse, then maybe he's the one that's going out of the show. And maybe we're getting another Flash, which honestly, I wouldn't care. I'm be real with you, especially if it was Wally or someone else. I'd be completely okay with that. I don't think that's what's happening. But again, they said that Iris is the key. And the reason I'm nervous about this is because I don't hate Iris. I agree that they write her like shit sometimes, but I don't hate Iris. But I kind of feel like the actress, from what I understand, and this is what I understood, last season, the reason she was out of so many episodes is that she was burned out and she was having issues being in Canada with no family and no support. I don't think she's married. I don't know anything about her personal life outside of that. But I mean, they always show pictures of her and her dog. And I think that she just really had to get away. And I mean, it makes sense. She's been in the series since the pilot as well. And I mean, being in Canada and having to film, like, you're filming almost your entire year. You have like 2 months off. And it's like, this is season 8. So, I mean, she probably is so burned out. Maybe she's thinking of leaving too. I don't know. It would be really messed up though, if it was Iris that actually dies. Because yes, in the comics, she actually was supposed to die. When Reverse Flash killed her at a party. He just literally phased his hand right through her head. And then her consciousness was brought back to the future because Iris is actually from the future, and they were able to put her in a new body. And then, right before Crisis, her and Barry got it on, and that's how, the twins were born, Dawn and Dawn. And, so that is literally that storyline. Right now, everything that's happening with Iris is borrowed time because they're just doing things out of continuity of the comics. So I don't know. It is definitely a thing. Now I don't know if Star Labs is going to be demolished, but I think it'd be kind of cool if they did, and then they rebuilt a brand new Star Labs that looked like more high tech and like extremely cool. Now, whether they do that or not, I don't know, but I think that would be very cool. I also wish that they brought more people from other shows, like Gamby would have been cool. I know that Kara, once again, and John are off-world, and I cannot think of why they would be off-world. I mean, I could see Kara going and seeing her parents, but what was Martian Manhunter doing off-world? I don't understand what they were doing. So I would love to have known, that's such a broad statement. Oh, they're both off-world right now. Why? Like, why? I mean, that would have been really nice to know, but why couldn't Brainy or Dreamer or any of the others make a cameo? I think Dreamer might be, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I haven't seen who all is coming to this crossover, but I really would have liked more people from Black Lightning to show up. Like, where's Anissa? At least bring, if you're not going to bring in, if you're bringing in Black Lightning, you could bring in Thunder and Lightning or, any of the other mutants. Bring in, even though he didn't get his show, Painkiller. I mean, bring some other people in that have been really cool in this crossover. But, I don't think Superman's in this. I don't know, guys. I'm in my feelings. I can't help it. I'm hoping that my Hawkeye review tomorrow is going to be better because I'm watching it, and then I'm doing I set it for 1:00. The first 2 episodes are premiering on Disney Plus. Hopefully I'll have more to say about that. That's positive because I'm a huge Kate Bishop fan. But we'll see. We will see. All right, I'm going to look at some of your questions. Marie, this part 2 of the Flash Armageddon was good, better than last week. I will say it was better than last week. It still highlights a problem in the writing on this show, that they make these very intelligent people lack critical thinking skills, which makes no sense because they're scientists. They should be thinking logically. Flash, maybe you should not be chasing down Satar because this person can hurt you and make you hurt us, and you won't remember doing it. It's bad. Maybe we should come up with a plan to make you not be affected like we have in other episodes. You know, maybe a helmet, maybe something in your ears, or maybe something on the sides of your, the temples of your head, something. We're not just going to send you out there after she's already whammied you into almost killing us to come back and almost kill us again. It makes no sense to me. None at all. Maybe someone's rewriting Barry's memories or his reality like a Doom World Part 2. That would be cool. That would be very cool. Hi, Nicholas. How are you? I'm just done with Traumaverse, so I'm going to be focusing on Stargirl, Naomi, and Vaguely Legends and Batwoman. Yeah. For once, I'm excited for Batwoman because I am really interested to see how Mary pulls off Poison Ivy. That's it. That's literally why I'm excited. Everything's from Barry's perspective. True. Like I said, I don't think this is real. I think something's going on. I'm looking forward to Naomi. Love hashtag Stargirl and Legends of Tomorrow. I like Legends a lot. Stargirl, I'm actually enjoying. I still nitpick it because there's a little bit of the Arrowverse creeping in, but for the most part, I still love the show. I have high hopes for Naomi. I think I will cry if Naomi comes out to be bad. And there's a lot they can do with it, even though it's a newer hero. She's only been out since, I think, 2017, 2018. But I feel like that gives them more room to F her up, too. And that's what worries me. But we'll see. Star City equals no brain cells. That feels that way. It really does. Jinx is the template for how they should have handled the Caitlin Killer Frost split personality situation initially. I absolutely agree. Oh my gosh. Arcane is it's so good. I love it so much. What's your tea type, Maria? I do Earl Grey. I was raised on Earl Grey. My mother was Scottish. She's passed, but that was our main tea. We do a lot of Earl Grey. I really have a lot of Asian. I have Korean style teas. I have teas from China. I'm a big tea person. I've been doing decaf though because I have anemia, and so if you know anything about that, sometimes teas, especially caffeinated teas, can make your anemia worse. But this is calming me a lot, guys. Yep, a lot. I would be a lot more angry grandma-ish if I didn't have my tea right now. So there's that. Only one Gideon per show. It sure feels that way. I don't know why. I mean, I don't know why we can't keep her on. Why couldn't they just download her to something like a huge drive capable of holding her or something, or take her software? And I don't understand why she could just be relocated. Why did she have to delete herself? Whatever. One free emotional validation coupon. It lasts the whole week. I'm telling you, if anybody has some sob stories and some emotional validation stories and gets that coupon of feels, it's Chester P. He gets it every damn week. Every week. So this could be in another reality for Barry. I think it actually might be. This is pre-Flashpoint induced madness. I think it's cool. But it's at the same time, I mean, we're speculating on things that could happen that may be very cool, and it might turn out like Crisis, where it's just stupid. Like having the Book of Destiny was completely pointless in that entire damn that entire crossover. So wait, does that mean Barry broke time again, and now we're stuck with this new 52 verse? Well, if Superman shows up with, I don't know, jeans and suspenders, then probably. You may be right, pre-Flashpoint, after all, anything is possible in the Arrowverse. That is so true. So true. Deep breaths, Maria. I'm breathing. Trust me. I'm keeping it in. I don't want to be right, because if I am, then I want Barry just flat out dead. And I don't mean Barry from another timeline of Earth. Now I want Bartholomew Henry Allen Prime Earth to be gone. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. It's going to be hard for the character Chester to come back from being made a dupe. I mean, it's character assassination. It's so sad. It really is. Maybe John's trying to make that kid Wynn told them about. They don't have to go off world to do that. They can go to his apartment. It doesn't make any sense at all. Lord, please no. Geez, I hope the writers remember that Iris has kids in the future. Nora and Bart can't exist if they kill off Iris. The writers are getting a little amnesiac. No, they're not getting amnesia. It might be the actors wanting to leave and they're trying to figure out how to write it out. Hi, Ray. How are you? Wait, is Stargirl still going on? I thought it ended with the defeat of Eclipso. Yeah, Stargirl's on break. They had their season now. I think they're actually, I want to say they're filming season 3 now. More than likely. I feel like CW doesn't give them time off. They get like a month or a week or something, then they're back in their studio again. I was so annoyed with Powder as a kid. She was like the one kid, the woman that was dating Rick had that has 2 weeks and ended up flipping out during a horde walk and got him and his mother killed. Yeah, there's a lot to that though. She generally thought she was helping, and that's the sad part, but yeah, it's a whole thing. Raise your hand if you're confused. Oh, everybody is. Trust me. I prefer New 52 to Rebirth, to be honest. There are elements of New 52 I don't mind, but there are also elements of New 52 that are just stupid. But the same can be said for Rebirth. So that's comic lore there. You just pick your poison on that one. I thought you're keeping it real. I try. I'm like, I try every week. I know it pisses some people off, but hey. I don't know. I can't do anything but tell the truth. I cannot, again, like I 100% cannot be a supporter of bad writing. I just can't do it. I will tell you the good points. Like the scene where Barry puts the gloves on the table in the Hall of Justice. That was pretty cool. I like seeing the chairs with all the different emblems on it. That was cool. But it added me my feelings because if you really look around the room now, some of the emblems are gone. The people are gone. Like if you really think about it, Black Lightning, Barry, and Sarah, White Canary, are the only 3 members left of the original, Hall of Justice group. Everybody else is pretty much gone. Supergirl is gone. Technically, Kate Kane, she's not gone, but she's not Batwoman anymore, which again, how are they going to incorporate Ron Wilder into the Hall of Justice when she was not part of Crisis on Infinite Poop? I need to understand how this works. Is this her audition to get the seat? Because the only reason I'm asking this is that Kate Kane is not dead. And to be fair, scratch both of these women out. Bruce Wayne apparently is not dead. So Batman is not dead. And so if we have Batman, and we've already said that we have Aquaman, which means they did say Themyscira in one of the Arrowverse shows, which tells me they know about Wonder Woman, at least their version primer, not DCEU. That tells me they've already established some form of a Justice League, which I guess kind of tracks, other than the fact that Martian Manhunter should be in it, because the regular replacement for Martian Manhunter has always been Cyborg. So it's just interesting to me. Like the timeline in the Arrowverse, in terms of how separated the heroes are, when traditionally they all work together, makes zero sense. When you watch the Justice League animated series, like back in the day, and you see the A team and the B team and the C team, that's what we call them based on their level of skill and how they were treated, basically. We had the main clique, the elite, which are always Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Martian Manhunter. They have their throwaway character, which is usually the 5th one, which is usually a hot girl or somebody else. But then you have, the underdogs, which I never agreed. I never thought Black Canary should have been on the B team with the same level as Green Arrow, because Black Canary in the comics and in animated form is badass. She's badass, especially when she joins Birds of Prey. I absolutely do not agree with that, but she was always on that team. So when you look at these characters and you look at Arrow and you look at the Flash and you look at their timelines, it doesn't make sense. It's like Silver Age doesn't exist, but it exists at the same time, but we don't have knowledge of it. We just get it. It's just so strange to me. It's strange. So like I said, it's a weird situation. So I'm curious to see how they handle this situation in light of the writers. I can definitely tell that they don't have a lot of comic book writers on staff. Let's put it that way. They have a lot of CW drama writers on staff, because I'm pretty sure if we really took the time to investigate per episode the writers and track them with other series, you probably got some Riverdale people in there. You probably got some Charm people in there. You probably got, All American people in there. I mean, they just probably rotate these people. They have some people like Jeff Johns that come in, when they can and probably say, oh, this is what we do over at DC Comics. But for the most part, CW is like, meh, we don't care about that. For drama's sake, let's just sprinkle a little bit of names of heroes in there, give it the little Bryan Singer effect, how he does X-Men movies and doesn't know who the hell any of them are. Just do that. And then add in a little bit of that Young and the Restless, Days of Our Lives flair that we all love. And bam, you got the Arrowverse. That's what we're dealing with, guys. So yeah. If you really sat down and thought about the Arrowverse, actually the continuity line pre and post crisis, you'd have a mental breakdown too. Just saying. Just saying. Let's see. Chester is such a weak character. I almost hope for Win or Felicity at this point. I'd take Felicity. As much as she got on my nerves, I would take her. And Felicity, to be fair, did not get on my nerves until Felicity happened. And then I was just like, I'm done. I'm just done. Can we get to the mages in Arcane and not the Hex Tech, which reminds me of Final Fantasy storyline? I'm pretty sure that this is a prequel to League. So I'm pretty sure they're on the way there. But at this point, I don't think they know what magic is. So I think we're a little far out for that. The Flash can only get better. Potentially. I mean, anything can get better. I mean, absolutely anything can get better with good writing. Amen to this sister. I can't stand bad writing. I mean, because you get hyped up. I'm gonna tell you, Crisis had me hyped. I was like, this is gonna be badass. We got all these people coming from like the old Birds of Prey TV show, the Adam West Batman era. We have all of these cameos. You're even throwing Titans in there. And then that shit came out, and I'm like, they were on there for 1 second. They had my boy Kevin Conroy from Batman animated series playing another version of Batman, which, by the way, I will say that his crazy Batman was cool as shit, and his Luke was effective, and his Luke was a lot more like the comics. And I said this in my Crisis review too. So I love the Luke in that version, or that Earth basically, or that I think it was a different Earth. Yeah, the Kate one too. I love that version of Luke. Luke Fox technically is also being character assassinated as well. They made him whiny, and he's a little bit, he's a very dislikable person. He gets in his feelings and he throws tantrums, just like him and Chester P should play D&D together. I think they love it. They can argue all day about who's whinier. I hope for the best. Alexa played another one bites the dust. That's basically it. I mean, honestly, I don't even feel like she was Alexa. I feel like she was Siri. That's exactly what I think Gideon was. We hearts about the mascara and legends when we're dealing with Helen of Troy, Czar 1.0, and Amaya, and Cisco mentions Atlantis a season or two back. Exactly. These are established worlds, established heroes that apparently don't give a shit about the world anymore. If I don't fight anything, they don't come and help with anything. They're just like, meh, we retired, fools. That's literally what's happening. They don't do anything. The world is about to be destroyed in Crisis. And what happened? They pulled Superman and Lois Superman. They had a Kingdom Come Superman. They had Lois and Iris. They had, it's like when you really look at the team that's going to save all of the multiverse. Technically not multiverse, but you know what I mean. I drink some more tea. So we've just discovered that Aquaman, Batman, and any of the other established characters don't give a flying flip about what happens to the world anymore, because they're retired. They're staying retired. Let them be. Love Island. # have them best life. That's what's happening with the rest of the heroes. Just so you know. We heard about the mascara. Okay, I think already that one just repeated. You mean worse? It could also get worse. Why is Black Canary on B team and Ryan gets her ass beat and saved by insane villain by Kate? And notice her gloves advocate was turned into an evil meta. Definitely not a detective worthy of that. No, like I said, Ryan had potential but the writing on that, and it makes me so angry because I know there were POC writers on this when they brought her in. They took the most asinine, literally stereotypical storyline they could effing think of. Let's just make her a bit. Now, remember, they advertised her as a former drug runner. Then they retconned that because they're like, that's too stereotypical. So instead of her being a drug runner, she was falsely accused, living in her van. But except the only problem with that is she actually left the apartment in the episode when she says that she took it from her girlfriend and got busted carrying drugs. Doesn't matter what, if you're using them or selling them, you had them on your person. So that shit was legal. But in Batwoman, they just decided to completely retcon the fact that they wrote that in the script. And then later on had her saying, you falsely arrested me. I'm like, you guys need to get this shit together. But I will say, if you're going to be arrested, that parole officer that she has is the best parole officer you will ever have in life, because she only threatened to call the cops in the pilot episode and episode 2. And then you really didn't see her again until the season finale of season 1. She was just like, oh, you're Batwoman? I'll be your best ally. And I'm like, so from episode 3 on, you didn't give 5 shits what Ryan was doing, because Ryan is Batwoman. She was on her own schedule. How was she making these appointments with her parole officer that are mandated by the court? Don't get me started, guys. I can't suspend my disbelief on everything. It's just too stupid. Barry watched the entire show and had a mental breakdown. That's what's happening. He's right. No, guys, I figured out what's happening in Armageddon. He's watching Crisis on Infinite Poop right now. This is what's happening, and he's losing his shit. That's what he is. He's like, where's the plot? And I'm like, what's happening? Is Bebo the threat or Anti-Monitor? I'm confused. I'm so mad that Charm was put off. I'm so excited and scared to do this page because Macy was definitely a Prue Light figure. So, Ray, I talked to Eloy, the turnout. We are actually coming up with a time either this week or next week to do our season 4 Charm Theory review. So it is happening, guys. So just hold on. It's happening. Nicholas, you need to be on a trivia team. You got it. He does. He has eidetic memory. I go to him when I forget stuff. Whatever happened to effective villains? Well, because in the Arrowverse, the term villains is loose. Like, because they're not trying. They are not trying to kill you. So there's that. But she wasn't falsely accused. She wasn't. But according to her, she was. And the season finale, Ryan gave that whole speech about being falsely accused. So, I mean, I'm calling the cops on the writers for bad writing. You're guilty. I mean, why not? Character assassination is a crime. I mean, why not? Screw redemption. The whole point of a villain is to push the hero to extremes that they normally wouldn't go. They are supposed to make the heroes think and trying to process things in the moment. I agree with that. What's so interesting to me is that the Arrowverse is notorious for taking villains and making them into heroes. Like, there's no universe where Killer Frost is a Justice Leaguer, a Team Flasher, or any of that stuff. That doesn't even track. She spent more time being, evil in Batman than she ever did having any type of, I don't even think they had a lot of interaction outside the Justice League when they were all fighting with Killer Frost or Suicide Squad. So I don't know. It's just weird. It's just the whole concept for me is just weird to have Killer Frost as a hero. But if you really look across, even Vibe started off as a bad guy. There's so many. Despero is a tyrant. He is a whole freaking tyrant. I like him coming in saying, oh, I formed a coup and blah, blah, blah. And now the villain of my world. Now, you were the villain of your world. Like, I read those comics. I know what you did. Oh, Lord. Lord. What happened to Ryan's parole officer? Well, she doesn't need her now but in season 1, from episode 3 on, you didn't see her again until the season finale, because Ryan apparently didn't have to see her until the season finale. I don't know why, because it was mandated. It was a court-ordered thing weekly. But Batwoman can't be Batwoman if she's got to go to her parole officer. So it is all stupid. And now the person that is an ex-felon is now the acting CEO of Wayne, Core Industries. Think about this. If you have $1 billion company, do you want somebody who went to jail for drugs as the figurehead and face of your $1 billion company? I mean, it's the writing. No hate on Javicia Leslie. I can't even hate on Ryan. Ryan is not the problem. The problem are the writers. They've made Ryan Black Kate Kane. I said this since last season. I think other people are starting to say it now because I've been seeing people comment on me, telling me that watch people's YouTube videos where people are saying like similar things, that they're now seeing that Ryan basically is Kate Kane in black form. She has all of Kate's shit. She's going to have Kate's girlfriend. They're just writing Kate. They did not recast Kate. They just made Kate black. That's literally it. And so it's ridiculous. And you know, I hate to dive in that because we're going to talk about Batwoman tomorrow, but I think in this season, one of the biggest things that you have to see is her sibling, because she has her own damn Alice. Marcus is her Alice. That whole situation is the whole Kate and Alice thing, or Kate and Beth thing all over again. But instead of having Red Alice, we're having Joker Jr. It is so effing ridiculous. I can't. They should have brought that woman in the way I've been saying, by other people were saying. I mean, I'm telling you, she would have been cool as a detective burned out by the GCPD. I stand by that. Ryan Wilder should have been a GCPD detective who was like tired of all the corruption. That was strike one. Her partner could have been killed by Alice. That is strike two. That's why she hates Alice. Maybe she was dating said partner. That's even worse. That's trauma. That's believable. That I will get behind. This little living in a van shit. And, you know, girl, I can't. I can't. As a POC woman, as a part black woman, you do not represent me. That whole storyline represents stupidity. I can't do that. I don't support it. No. Hashtag bad writing. Just what it is. I want them to bring back Spoiler so bad and make her associated to this current Batwoman. Spoiler was a cool character. I want Renee to become the Question, because what they're doing with Renee is stupid too. There's not a world her and Poison Ivy were getting it on, but whatever. It is what it is. I've learned that Sophie not only is a bat chaser, she is the LGBT magnet. Now, as a queer woman, I understand that you have to check out other women, because that's what you do, especially when you come out of the closet. You go through this little baby gay phase. Sophie didn't go through her baby gay phase. That girl went straight out of the closet and kept sprinting, and she is sleeping with everybody. She's like, Renee, I hate you. Let's go. Let's do it. So Renee Montoya, Kate Kane's ex, and Sophie, Kate Kane's ex, are sleeping with each other because they were both with Kate in the comics. So her two exes are sleeping together, and Renee's also sleeping with Harlequin's girl, Poison Ivy, or was. And and then poor Sophie, you know, she slept with Kate. She slept with Julia, who wore the damn bat suit for a minute to try and pretend to be Kate, to throw her dad, Jacob, off the trail. And now she's trying to get with Ryan, hashtag bat chaser. I have coined bat chaser. Nobody else better steal that from me. That is my thing. So if somebody else says it, came from ATN first. You know, I said that from the beginning. They were going to make her a damn bat chaser. I'm so tired of it. Oh, sorry, I skipped this. And when it comes to the Traumaverse, there's no substance, no real gravitas to hold any semblance of growth and nuance ideas that seem to flow out from their interact. They don't learn anything. You're absolutely correct. They do not. They don't learn. Like, they go through these situations and you think, oh, you got it, you shouldn't do this. And then 4 episodes down the line, they do it again. And I'm like, I'm done. I'm like, it's like when I tell my daughter, hey, don't put colors in with whites in the washing machine. It will stain your clothes, especially if it's new. And it's like, are you learning? Now if she did it again, I'd just strangle her. But like, my daughter has critical thinking skills. So she learned that one time when I told her that was a bad idea, she's like, I will apply that to the rest of my life. They don't do that. They don't do that. All, like, a whole team of damn scientists, especially, they don't practice critical thinking. So it is what it is, I guess. I'd rather they put Frost on the Suicide Squad. Would be more believable. I agree with that 100%. I didn't know this was supposed to be a badass Despero from Young Justice that beat the dog shit out of the team and locked down the Hall of Justice. Yeah, headquarters to find a good fight. That's exactly who that is. In the comics, he fought the Justice League. Many a time. He actually made a weapon to try and kill, I think it was Superman, and he played this like chess game that I always call the Star Trek Spock chess game because it looked similar in the comic, like with the glass tiers. Basically was playing against the Flash to save Earth. So yeah, this whole storyline they're doing is a milk down version of Despero too, and he is a villain. He is not somebody who's taking refuge on Earth. So they just needed a reason to bring him in, and there are so many different people they could have picked in the DC comic lore throughout time that would have been better than Despero. But whatever, like Whatever. Kate would have noticed Mary becoming a split personality meta. Yeah, she would have. She would have. Especially this new Kate. This new Kate seems to give a damn. She actually got her a present for graduation. Did any of the others? No. They left that girl during her graduation. Let's see. Sophie's trying to outdo Sarah's record for how many women she can sleep with. I mean, right? I mean, as a woman of color, I get it. You're not gonna let this white woman, show you up on how many women you can bang. But damn, I mean, at least Sarah's traveling through time, getting it on. She leaves them, she does them like Doctor Who, and then probably she might even like wipe their mind. She's like, wham, bam, thank you, amnesia, and then she's out. But it's so weird. It's just so damn weird to me. Sophie sleeps with everybody. Sophie is such a kick-ass character. I like Sophie. They're making her a bat chaser. I do not understand it. Like she's trained like Kate. She's smart. She's very resourceful. She would have been a fucking cool replacement if they wanted to say, hey, BLM, I want representation. We need to have a strong Black female character. You had one already on your damn show. Her name was Sophie. Make her quit the Crows. Have her take up the mantle of Batwoman as, basically homage to her girlfriend who she thinks is dead. And then her girlfriend comes back and says, hey, I love you. I know you can hold this down while I go find my cousin. Here, you're Batwoman. Plus, she's tall. She's not 5'5", or I'm 5'5". I think me and Javisa Leslie are like the same height. I couldn't be Batwoman. I'm too damn short. So, I mean, I don't understand why Sophie was not the route they chose. It didn't make sense to have a casting call for Ryan Wilder when you had a perfectly good actress of color, a Black, powerful female character already established on your damn show. You don't have to do any unnecessary garbage of living in a van. None of the shit. You already had her on the show. It's stupid. This is how I know the writer's room, they don't use critical thinking skills either. They just don't. Julia needs to come back. That's not ever going to happen. Let me tell you why. Because nobody cares about Julia. I'm like, no one cares. Julia kept Kate's secret from Sophie, so she was a bad guy. Then she got brainwashed into wanting to go to Germany, and nobody asked any damn questions after that. Nobody said, hey, I wonder why she's up and decided to go to Germany out of the blue when she was so gung-ho on finding out what really happened to Kate. Not even Sophie, who was dating her, did that. So it's bullshit. So, yeah, they don't care. I'm glad they're doing this with Ella, not with, played out cliche. Let Sophie be a hoe for the team. Why has it got to be lesbian, though? I don't understand. Why can't we be equal hoes? I don't understand this. No one in Star City or Keystone City has critical thinking skills at all. Yeah, sometimes not in National City. Like... Blue Valley, kind of, but Blue Valley is a whole different Earth. It's like Earth 2. So, like, yeah, there's still some problematic stuff in Stargirl, but nothing on this level. This is a whole other level of crap. It's just crazy. Barry and his team have no common sense. Thank you. They all went to school for how long to get these degrees and all these science degrees and degrees at MIT for what? To practice this thing called, I don't have common sense and I don't understand critical thinking. I love Gary and Constantine. I wish they showed more respect to their relationship after Sarah and before Zari. I agree with that. But now we have, Dr. What is his name? Just go out of my head. Matt's new character, the doctor who's actually openly gay and was in love with a man or soldier. So I think they're trying to do a little redemption with that. And Gary is bisexual. So I guess I could see him with Gideon. And technically Gideon is kind of human. But then again, Gary's not really human either. So, I mean, I don't know. It's a mess. It's a mess. Isn't Julia still brainwashed? Yep, in Germany. Nobody cares. No one cares about Julia. I want Alfred to figure it out because that's his daughter. But to be real, a lot of people were in their feelings about her casting. Even though I did like her, I mean, as a biracial, I get it because Alfred's her mother was Black. Alfred had her with a Black woman who I can't remember if they were dating or they were married. I have to go back and look at that. So she was mixed. And so they took a mixed girl and they whitewashed her. That's what they did. But, our wonderful showrunner said, but I did that because I had to have somebody in the suit that kind of looked like Kate so she could pretend to be Kate. I'm like, well, look at my pasty ass. I'm part Black and Native American and I'm Scottish. And I'm pasty enough that you would not know what my race was, especially if I have a cowl on my face. You wouldn't know what I was. So if you actually got an ambiguous biracial, you could have kept her biracial. That is a very lame ass excuse. But you know what? I don't like the showrunner of the show either, so it's fine. Where are the rest of the Paragons? What's the point of the Hall of Justice? So the Paragons, there was no point to them either. If you watch Crisis on Infinite Poop, you know that in the Book of Destiny, Lex Luthor demonstrated that all you have to do is scratch out somebody's name and write yours, and you can basically assign anybody to be a Paragon. My dog Simon, he is a black lab retriever mix. I could make him the Paragon of Hope by scratching out a name. Like, you're gone, Kara. Simon. Now my dog is the Paragon of Hope. What's the point, though? Because the Paragons all just sat on the sidelines while Oliver had a Sailor Moon meets Dragon Ball Z with Yu Yu Hakusho moment and kind of defeated Anti-Monitor. And then everybody basically went to fight Bebo. And when the Earths were all merged into one Prime Earth, or most of them were, and Bebo was a bigger threat, even though he was an illusion, than Anti-Monitor that Alex and some of the others were shooting with guns. So what was the point to Crisis? Crisis should have been where they wiped out everybody who did not have critical thinking. That would have been cool. I would have loved to see the aftermath of that. But that did not happen. Instead, I think they got rid of everybody who had critical thinking. And this is what's left. So Earth 2, Earth 3, all the DC properties that we see on HBO Max, like Titans, like hell, I'm even throwing animated stuff in. Young Justice, all of that. Those are where the critical thinking people went after Crisis. Everybody else, Arrowverse. Just saying. They better not make Sophie a Robin. I will be done. Or Flamebird. I mean, there's. Let's just stop. Freaking Nima sent Julia away. No one cares. That's too bad, though. Yeah, nobody cares. Nobody remembers. Nobody cares at all about Julia. I don't think Ryan could handle Blue Valley, and those are teens. She would get wiped out by the ISA. I'm curious to see how she's going to handle Central City. There was no point for the Paragons. Absolutely no point at all. None. It was the stupidest thing I've ever seen Arrowverse do. Now, I loved, and I'm saying this now, I effing loved Elseworlds. I thought Elseworlds was really good. Elseworlds is what Crisis should have effing been. That whole fight scene at Iris and Barry's wedding was on point with the Nazis. It's sad that you fight Nazis and you make a really blockbuster type crossover. And then you have Crisis on Infinite Earth with all these actors coming in to do cameos and you make nothing but shit. It was literally, my dog pooped better than that. I don't understand what that was supposed to be. It was pointless. Pointless. At this point, the Hall of Justice should be demolished after what they let go down in Freeland and National City, the Fifth Dimension beings. Where were you? I mean, this goes back to me talking about the Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Batman not giving a shit about Earth either. I mean, what kind of hero are you that Monitor doesn't even think that you are good enough to be representative of a Paragon? Like, Batman, you are not worthy of being a Paragon. Neither are you, Wonder Woman. Aquaman, you are not either. And anybody else already established from the Justice League, you are not worthy of being a Paragon. But Ryan Choi, you are. Because you, I know, will fight after you watch that 30-minute video on how to beat somebody on YouTube. You are a Paragon. I'm like, yeah. And then if we're going to rack our brains about Crisis, guys, this is the level of writing. This is how I knew the ship was that it was actually the Titanic at this point. If Lex Luthor could scratch out his name and write his name in, why did you send all these people on these quests to all these different Earths to find Paragons when all you had to do is just write their damn name in? I think Ryan's a Paragon. I'll put Ryan Choi on here. You want to be a Paragon? Cool. Which one you want to be, girl? Come here and show me. Iris is now going to be the Paragon of Love. I'm like, well, why the hell not? Why not? Everything. I mean, Cecile was right there. Like I said, this is the Arrowverse as we know it. Tomorrow night we have Legends of Tomorrow and Batwoman, which means I will probably be doing that review at 1:00 on Thursday. Tomorrow at 1, though, I am doing Hawkeye. So that's 1 and 2. So that will definitely be happening tomorrow. And then Friday, I'm going to let you know because I'm supposed to be doing a collaboration on Friday, but I don't know if we're doing a live stream or if we're doing a video. I have to look and see because I'm not really sure. But Yeah. My tea is getting cold. I'm gonna have to heat it up again. Calm. This is where I'm happy that I have that British side, because it's very, very humbling when you're losing your stuff over a non, like, basically it's not even real. It's a TV show. I know it's a TV show. It's just that my brain is boggled. It boggles my mind. As somebody who has a film degree, who writes scripts, who, I'm in the voiceover world, so I read scripts all the time. I'm a comic book lover. I love TV shows, movies. I get in my feelings when you have a team of people that just write garbage consistently, and it's still getting renewed and it's still, and people actually don't understand that it's garbage. I think that is probably another problem that I have. Like, there are people out there that think that this is amazing. This is the best thing ever. And, everything happening, all these shows are just amazing and the best writing. And I'm like, wow, if you think this is good, what do you think is bad? I mean, I'm confused as hell, guys. I am so confused. I'm confused. So this Earth's Justice League is basically like Captain Marvel and MCU, useless and never around. Per Shang-Chi, useless. I mean, I don't mind Captain Marvel, but I mean, that's her stick anyway. Besides, you saw the comic review I did on Trash Comics. She's probably kidnapped right now and having her son impregnate her. Yeah, I can't anymore. We need something else, because at this point it's just mind-numbing torture. Hashtag true dat. This episode just screwed. Why? I swear it's Riverdale syndrome. This stuff's been going on way before Riverdale. Remember when Riverdale used to be like good, like season 1, before that supernatural stuff got thrown in? I don't really know why they're doing that. I guess I haven't even followed Riverdale in a while because it's just so confusing to me, and I don't want to hurt my head. So that's happening. Nancy Drew is another problematic show for me right now. I think it's more of the problem that I mostly have with Nancy Drew is Bess and her having the only LGBT representation on the whole show, and her being just the flimsiest. Like, she has nothing. There's no real depth to this character. She's just whiny and problematic and blighty, and I just don't like her. So it's a thing. Girl, you have a film degree. You and Eloy should submit to CW because the Riverdale writers are horrible outside of that. Yep, my undergrad is in film, and I minored in theater, and my master's degree is in marketing. So, yep, I have a film degree, and I specialized in screenwriting, but I also mostly dabbled with DP work, and I also do video editing and audio editing. So, yep, it is a thing. It's a thing. It's a thing. I stopped watching Riverdale after season 2 for my sanity's sake. Good call. I'm only going to watch Riverdale for the Sabrina tie-in. I was waiting forever. Just find the episode and watch that. It probably won't be too far from reality anyway. You might not even need continuity there. But back to this, because we're about to end this stream. We're actually over an hour now. I want to say that this was better than last week. Because last week was basically a soap opera with like the last 16 minutes of something actually happening with the Sparrow. At least with this one, we got more Despero, but now we get to see even more that Team Flash lacks critical thinking skills, because your leader almost tried to kill you. I can't think of anybody on the planet. You don't even have to be on Team Flash. He could just walk into a convenience store and be like, I tried to kill you. And this woman, she made me do it. She got in my head, but don't worry. I'm going to go out here right now and try to find her. And as the employee of the convenience store, I'd be like, the hell you are? Because all you're going to do is come back here and try and kill me again. Use your brain, boy. I'm like, what is wrong with you? Did nobody tell you this? I mean, do you not understand? The definition of insanity, Flash, is doing the same thing repetitiously and expecting a different outcome. So, yeah, just dumb. I just can't. I can't. I cannot. So that's where I am, guys, on this. But hey, if you haven't gotten to this live stream and you're just seeing this now, I want to know what you think. Tell me your theories. What questions do you have? What do you think about Team Flash? Do you think they have critical thinking? Do you think that I'm crazy? Do you think I'm lacking logic at this point? I mean, who knows? Maybe I'm driven insane by all the shit that I watch. Let me know in the comments. And again, please check out my 1 p.m. stream tomorrow, unless I have an outage, because it is going to thunderstorm and I live in an old freaking building. We should be having our Hawkeye episodes 1 and 2 live stream review, spoiler review, spoiler review tomorrow, because I am, again, a huge, I love the Young Avengers. I love Kate Bishop. Super excited for where this is going. So we're going to talk all about that to see what Hawkeye's. Hopefully it's not going to suck, but we'll see. So we will be on the lookout for that. And as always, if it is night for you, have a good night. And if it is day for you, have a very good day. And I will see you tomorrow on my next stream.